sacred art has always had a healing function. That's because the most healing experience that anyone can have is a mystical experience. And all the doctors who are doing the psychedelic research are basically proving the same thing, that once you have contact with the divine, you have a sense of a new sacralized or divinized sense of the world. You have a transfigured approach to the everyday world that you live in as a sacred world, and you want to honor that. You want to respect it as much as possible. So there's new possibilities that come in the wake of these awakening experiences.
And this painting is another one that deals with healing.
And so here Allison is healing the blind, who is myself there. And she's accompanied also by a kind of Shroud of Turin type ghostly Christ figure in the back, which unites them somehow. There's a kind of love circuit that happens through a spiritual force, and the laying on of hands. You can see that there are spirit hands that are are working with the healer. And here's that kind of bioelectromagnetic, psycho-spiritual soup of consciousness that the baby and mother are surrounded with. And you can also see the milk kind of drizzling into the digestive system of the baby. But there's also a Madonna and child kind of archetype there, you know. And so here then the Holy Family, you know, is going through their embryological bloom, where the jewel in the lotus is literally depicted up there, connected like a spiritual kite to the fetus. The soul is symbolized by this kind of lotus, this glowing lotus in the heart.
Now we come to the Chapel of the Sacred Mirrors, which you began work on in 1979, and then you finished the cycle of paintings in 1989. We'll look at them in a moment. And then for a time, beginning in 2004, and I had the great privilege of visiting the chapel there in Chelsea, in New York. And we have a couple of shots here, the entrance and a view into one of the galleries. And I'm just going to kind of move through these, and maybe as we move through you can tell people what this cycle is about.
Well, the Sacred Mirrors was inspired by Allison and named by Allison as a series. And so it was based on a visionary experience that we had, particularly if you stop right there for a second. You've got the, you could go back one. You've got a sense of how the human figure becomes this more psychic energy system with the subtle energies, and then melts down a little bit the identity with the body, and then the next go over to the next, So here you've got the universal mind lattice, and this was kind of one of the most important psychedelic experiences I ever had. And my wife and I were tripping in bed with blindfolds on, and entered into this space where we had melted down into one of these balls of light, and we were interconnected omnidirectionally without end to every other being and thing in the universe that was one of these balls of light. And the light was love, and it was so beautiful. It was like you had awakened from the body and found yourself in a much more fundamental state. And it was beyond birth and death or sex of any kind. And so after coming back, Allison confirmed that she had been in the exact same space at the same time. Because we made drawings of it that were very similar. And so we called it the Universal Mind Lattice, and we started to find other references, and and other visions that confirmed that other people had been to a similar place. So it gave me a lot more sense of the credibility of these heavenly worlds and that had been described in mystical literature, but I'd never actually visited them, you know. But they're very visitable, and the visions of millions of people prove that, you know, it can happen time and again. So then it goes into more of a Tibetan influenced kind of void clear light and the Avalokitesvara